What's up, everyone? Dalton Hopkins with Frontstretch.com here, and I'm sitting here once again with Brandon Brown, driver of the number 68. Usually, although this weekend at Indianapolis, you can drive the number 47. Brandon, you released a statement. It just seems a little unfortunate that now you're stepping out of the number 68 for this weekend because of what seems to be sponsorship reasons. Can you elaborate a little bit more about how this decision came to be?
Yeah. So what happened really was just the sponsorship struggles through the year put the team in a pretty big financial bind. And, I haven't been able to pull the sponsorship funding through to keep the 68 going. So there are a lot of other drivers that have way more funding than me. So um, the team needed to sell the ride to those drivers with funding. And because of that, it's kind of I won't say forced, but it's a hand that says, Brandon, you're stepping out. And, it is extremely unfortunate and it's heartbreaking, but I am grateful to Mike Harmon and his 47 team for allowing me to at least fill the seat for that weekend to try and keep attempts up in case we pull off a Hail Mary and get into the playoffs.
A Hail Mary indeed, but now driving the number 47 for at least for this weekend. But how about does this seem like it's going to be a one-time thing? Of course, sponsorship issues just seem to be a reoccurring problem. Is this something that we could see a little bit more happen more normally?
I mean, unfortunately, right now, that's kind of how it's looking, is that there's probably going to be other races where the 68 is going to have a different driver. And unless I can, pull another Hail Mary and knock down a really big, good sponsor. But as of right now, with all the no's that I got in my sponsorship corner, I got to say that it's probably going to look towards, there's going to be like other drivers in the 68.
What's it going to take to prevent that? Obviously, a sponsorship, I would imagine something big to come along.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, really and truly, I'm not that far off on sponsorship stuff. It's not the millions and millions people always think it is. I'm actually off by a couple $100,000. So, we're close, but no cigar right now. Just, trying to rebuild partnerships and whether it was with older partners or with newer. Just doing anything and everything we can. The only issue is, like, in the world of the marketing side, is everybody right now is closing their deals and making their decisions for the 2023 season, which has nothing to do with 2022. So kind of stuck in that limbo area of setting up for next year, but also trying to fulfill this year and fulfill some contractual obligations that I have to partners that have signed on this year.
You're obviously somebody with a marketing background, as we've discussed with our series rebranding Brandon Brown. What have you been doing differently to kind of reach out to different sponsors or new or old ones from the past?
Yeah, so it's not really a ton different, more than just the same kind of grind of just reaching out and anybody and everybody. It's funny. It's kind of like when you're waiting to see if your pasta's done, you grab a noodle and throw it against the wall, and if it sticks, then it's sweet, it's done. But this, we're just reaching in and grabbing every noodle out of the pot and throwing it against the wall and hoping something sticks. So we're there's not a whole lot changed, just constantly trying to get in contact with any and every decision maker there is in the world to see if they have a marketing budget that they'd allot towards racing.
I guess one of the big things that everyone's thinking about when they assume, when they think of Brandon Brown being the number 47 and being how close you are on that playoff cut line, it just seems like you've had some great runs in the last few weeks, and a third place at Atlanta. You've had some great runs, and now it just seems like it's just such an unfortunate time this has got to happen. Do you think there's any way we could see you back in the 68 at least until the end, of the regular season?
I mean, I'll be back in the 68 for a handful of races. Definitely Daytona. I mean, I'll be back in the 68 in the postseason for Talladega. But I mean, other than that, nah, not really. The team is working on trying to sell some rides to other drivers to keep the funding, which, as heartbreaking as it is for me, I do understand what they have to do to keep to keep BMS in operation. So, yeah, it's just a terrible situation, but part of that's the way the cookie crumbles in this sport.
Could we see in the future perhaps that the 68 team, you take a little bit more of an ownership role and the 68 kind of becomes more of a, I would say maybe a Cup Series surrogate, maybe a Cup Series driver surrogate, where we could see Cup Series drivers come in, kind of like what they've done with the number 48 team this year. And that way BMS just becomes more successful that way?
Well, I actually quite the opposite. I'm going to be working on uh, kind of differentiating myself from Brandonbilt Motorsports and allowing the 68 to grow on its own. And I'm going to have to start working pretty hard to secure sponsorship for myself to maybe try my hand at some other cars, maybe try and work into some different series. But what it's going to take to grow the 68 is having other drivers come in and find success in it too. I feel like I've pushed the equipment to its potential, and I feel that I found a lot of speed in it and was able to prove myself in this car. And maybe now it's time to allow others to jump in the 68 and start working on Brandon Brown as the driver, and see where I land.
And I also wanted to, and first off, I apologize. I said third place at Atlanta. I think it was third place at New Hampshire, if I'm not mistaken. When you had a really great run going on in the last few weeks. But do you think that, here's the big question, do you think that the whole issue that happened at Talladega, do you think that's one of the big reasons why it's so difficult to secure sponsorship right now?
Yeah, I'd say that's probably the elephant in the room that keeps us from being able to lock down a lot of partnerships, just because, I'm still viewed as a political figure. I can be viewed as divisive because of the chant that started from Talladega. So it's really hard to convince companies like, hey, that's not me. That was just what the crowd was chanting and what was reported on. But just it does make it hard because of everything that happened from Talladega till now. I wish I could have handled it 100 different ways, but I've, I guess, made my bed, so gotta stay in it.
Have any sponsors, I mean, without naming names, of course, but have any sponsors actually come out and said, hey, this is why we cannot partner with you?
Yeah, quite a few, and even looking at Indianapolis this weekend, reached out to a lot of teams, and I won't name the team, but that reached out and told me that basically it's because of the partnerships that they have. Their current partners wouldn't want to basically associate with what happened. So it does make it hard to secure that kind of, it makes it hard to find a seat, because if you do find a seat, you're going to be working with teams that have current working relationships, and their partners are going to have to approve or disapprove of Brandon Brown in the car.
But there's been some positive uptake with the whole the Brandon brand, for lack of
Yeah.
better words. But there's been some positive uptake. The last few weeks, you've been, there's been a bit of relationship with you and another Brandon. We
Mhm.
talked about that a little bit a while ago, but it just seems like they've really grown attached to you. How's that relationship been growing?
Yeah, I mean, it's been great. It's been a lot of fun. Brandon Brundage is he's an inspiration for how he views everything and how positive he is, and everything that he's able to accomplish. It definitely puts wind in your sails, especially for me in this situation. So just got to stay positive and hope that there's something bigger working here that will allow me the opportunity to continue doing what I love. And it's been awesome to be able to talk to Brandon. I've FaceTimed him before the race at Atlanta, and then he actually just had his 10th birthday this past weekend, so we were able to call and sing happy birthday with his family. So I think it's awesome, and it's been something that I think I'm happy to be a part of one of his core memories growing up.
Well, Brandon, I wish you the best of luck. I know these seem like really tough times, but I think you've been some dark times before, and it somehow things have somehow worked out. So maybe something will happen with you in the future that can work out really great. And hopefully you'll be back in the number 68 car, and we can see you. We can see that team. We can maybe see that team thrive again.
Yeah, that'd be the dream.
All right. Thank you, Brandon. I appreciate you talking with me about this today.
Yep. Thank you.
Jared Haas with Frontstretch.com. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Also, check one of those 2 videos out that we have right beside you. Visit Frontstretch.com for more great content.